Good morning. We'll be starting shortly.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. Thank you so much for being willing to moderate for me, Mr. Yinka and I.
Oh no, I need to change this.
No
So
problem. You can tell our audience about startups and innovators too.
okay, I've changed my name, but how can I change my
I think if you go on the video and you click on the little button next to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I
And
just
then you
okay.
don't do that to people or they'll think they're here on vacation.
That's where I want to be right now. That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Let me see where else. No, I don't want. No. Okay. Looks good. Deji. Deji. Deji, I know you can hear me.
I know you feel too.
Come and say hello to Uncle Amos. He refused to meet with.
Hello, DG. How are you?
I'm good.
Sorry,
Okay.
you're actually below. If you can go.
He's
Oh,
trying to feel
hello.
like too tall for.
Yeah. How are you, DG?
I'm good.
Good. Good to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
He's coming to Houston.
For what?
Well, just to come see Houston. We have some things going on there.
And to come see you.
And to come see you. Well, good, good. Welcome. Well, I think before we start
Morning,
our
Yinka.
own.
Good afternoon, Yinka. I think he's muted.
Oh, okay. You'll be back in a second. Before we even start, I was thinking you can share a little bit about maybe what you do with with Sunshines, and I think that there's some connections to this topic,
Yeah,
especially
so
today.
if I had planned this really well, I was thinking if there was a way I could go live, but Zoom, I don't know how we can connect Zoom to
You can just
Instagram.
have your phone on the side.
But they won't be able to see the other participant. That's a challenge.
I see.
Yeah, they have to see every other person. But I know that there's this app.
Definitely connected. There's no way that somebody.
Yeah, so there's this app. I should have used what do you call it? The app I told them. There's an app that you will like connect all your social medias with. And
Yes.
when you're running a webinar like this on Zoom, I can just connect with it. So we should have done that earlier.
Okay. No problem.
So, but I think we can be doing this like once a month.
Yeah.
And then we can connect it because it will really help because people will have questions, and I think we need to do another live again.
No problem. That sounds good.
Same thing what we're doing today, we'll just replicate it and Yinka will join us as well. So the more,
Yes, please.
yeah.
Yeah. So
If we even plan it well, we can just do it right after we are done.
okay, no
If
problem.
also him.
Yeah, so I think it'd be good to introduce you to the parents to let them know what you're up to as well.
Okay.
And so I am able to connect what we're doing now on Facebook. So at least it's going to show on Facebook.
On Facebook.
So, but yeah, so maybe if you don't mind, just share briefly about, Sunshines, and let's see if it'll be a great opportunity for people to be able to learn what you do and follow your channel as well.
Okay, sounds good.
So the floor is yours for a quick introduction, and then I'll introduce everybody.
Okay, so has everybody joined? Because I can't see.
Yeah, there's a few. I see a few of them are on the call already. Hello, welcome, Sasha. Welcome, the Span family. Thank you for joining us. we look forward to dissecting what it takes to raise very sharp students in their schools. So, and this is Tola Balogun, Adeolu Balogun, and she is going to moderate the discussion today between Mr. Yinka and I. Mr. Yinka and I can go on and on with mathematics, so we need somebody to keep us on track. So, but she can share briefly her background, and then you know, she's one of our Nigerian School of Mathematics people, and she will also share what she does, and maybe just a minute or two, and then we'll jump into the topic.
Okay, sounds good. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone, whichever time zone you are. My name is Tola Adeolu Balogun. I'm an attorney by training and also an HR professional in the workplace. I'm a mom of 3 boys and I run Raising Sunshines, which is a platform for moms of boys, although there are people who are not moms of boys. So people have moms. So people are They are girl moms and boy moms, but you know. So the platform is on Instagram as Raising Sunshines, and it's a platform that empowers moms of boys or anyone caregivers raising boys to raise and empower with tools and resources to raise happy, healthy, and godly sunshine. So it's a privilege to be here. I think part of what we're doing in Nigerian School of Maths also is interwoven with the Raising Sunshine, because if you're trying to raise boys who are happy, who are healthy, who are godly, the part of creativity, the part of the STEM knowledge and all of that comes from it. So I'm happy to be here as well. You can follow me on Instagram as Raising Sunshines. So raising as an R, to raise a child, sunshines as an SON, shines.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
I see someone raise their hand. If they have any questions, go ahead. You can type it in, but otherwise, let me see. Give me 1 second.
Please, we can't see the icon for a microphone. Is the setting from the moderator?
Oh, I see. Give me 1 second. Let me check. Okay. Okay. So I've answered their question. I think because it's in the webinar mode, that's why.
Yeah.
So, but please, if there's any participant that would like to ask a question live, just let us know.
Or use the Q&A button. That's
yeah.
fine.
Okay. So I think we're good now. They can go ahead, and I see the microphone now. Okay. So today, this topic for the month, well, so this is Amos Tarfa, Nigerian School of Maths, and I'll let Tola coordinate here, but I just wanted to briefly introduce myself and then maybe Mr. Yinka, or except you want to lead us on that too, Tola.
Okay, so I will give the floor now to Amos Tafa to do a quick introduction about himself, Nigerian School of Mathematics, and why we're here today.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So this is Amos Tarfa. I grew up in Nigeria. I was blessed to go to Federal Government College, Lagos, Ijanikin. I used to joke and say it was one of the best schools in Nigeria. I know now there's pushback when I say that, but a lot of the private schools are doing very well. But anyway, so that's why I grew up, went to Air Force Primary School, Victoria Island. I was trained in Nigeria, came to America, got my degree in chemistry and a minor in philosophy, and then I got my master's in medical physics. So anyways, I've done work, 1 year of my PhD in chemistry as well. I love chemistry, physics, mathematics, and I want to help raise the next generation of Sir Isaac Newtons and James Clerk Maxwell's and top mathematicians and scientists. And I believe that the Nigerian curriculum provides a rigorous framework to do that. And if you couple that with counting to calculus, which is a framework I've put together as well, together, I believe you can help your children to become extraordinary in math. So that's my background. And I have another person involved in this venture, and that will be Mr. Yinka, and I'll let Tola get him on as well.
So over to you, Yinka. Can you please go ahead and do a brief introduction? And I just want to let every other person know, kindly mute yourself if you're not asking questions so that we have a constructive meeting. Thank you. If Liema can please mute, that would be appreciated. Go ahead, Yinka.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tola and Mr. Amos. My name is Yinka. I studied electrical electronics. I'm an engineer by what I did in school here, but now I've been an educator for the past 9 years. So I've taught across curriculums, Canadian, American, consulted for quite a number of schools. And also, I've just been quite invested in getting kids to, I think turning them into superstars in no time. So I've done that for, quite a few years, myself and my team. Anyway, on the strength of that, we set up a company. It's called Live Learning. And now we have over 40 tutors, and we work with kids across 4 continents, across not just math, mostly STEM related to math, programming, sciences, and all of that. And so when I met Mr. Amos and we started talking, we're pretty much finishing each other's sentences. And so we did that for a bit, and we're like, oh, okay, you know what? Let's come together and start something that we are convinced that America needs, right? Again, because of our experience working with kids in America. And yeah, so that's basically it about me. NSM is a joint venture between my company and Mr. Amos's company, and together we're looking to just revolutionize STEM education in America. Thank you.
Yeah, so that sounds really interesting. And I feel this is a topic we need to speak about more often. So this is going to be, there's going to be more series of this coming up soon. But just before we start to take questions from everyone who is here, I just wanted to go ahead and just speak about the Nigerian smart child. So, a lot of people will say, oh, Nigerians or Nigerian kids are really smart. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the upbringing, background, or is it just a myth? So what is the Nigerian smart child? I want us to talk about is that someone who is the top of the class, who speaks big grammar? Is it someone with quick mental mathematics, or is it someone who is exceptional? Or is it someone who is rigid, who can just take a textbook and cram it and probably does not understand it? So I want us to speak to that. Either Mr. Amos or Yinka can lead us on that.
Actually, Mr. Yinka, if you don't mind, if you can kick us off on that. I know you love the topic as well. And then I have some thoughts too after.
Yeah, okay, sure. So again, so working with Nigerians, on average, you would see that Nigerian students still maintain a very high output, right? When it comes to education generally. So we still have a strong sense of value for education, one, and then secondly, we still drive our children to do amazingly well. So basically, on the average, you just find Nigerians doing quite well, right? Again, I'm not talking about the underprivileged zones. That one is just the failure of the government and all of that. But kids that have the opportunity, all right, to actually try. So you find that for the scores that I almost would it's really intense on when it comes to the SATs, you will find those students, they are still in the 85th percentile, 86th percentile, and are about to just blow the roof. Like, what, guy, what is this and all of that. And the kids themselves, they have even now come to accept that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to output, right? So Nigerian smart child, I think is a culture amongst Nigerians, right? That we just know that we need to get done. We put a premium on education, and then we go for it from a very young age. So basically that's what the Nigerian smart child really is. Given the opportunity, they can do anything, right? And they can achieve anything.
Okay, thank you for that perspective, because I know that this comes from raw fact, because you have actually interacted with these students. So Mr. Amos, over to you.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's interesting is a few months or weeks ago, I was trying to research why some of the best mathematicians in the 20th century all came from the country of Hungary. If you guys know that country, Hungary, right? Hungary, Romania, that area, a lot of the top mathematicians came from that region. So I was trying to research one time, why are there so many top mathematicians from that region? And one of the answers was interesting, and it connects to the Nigerian smart child. And it was the influence of parents. Parents have a huge role to play in their children achieving high levels in math and science. So what this means is that it's not enough to just send your child to school and give them what the school is giving them. You have to ask, is my child reaching their highest potential? And some Nigerians I know, for example, they have after school lessons for their children, not because their children struggle with school, but because they want their children to reach their potential. In the past, people will send their children to lesson teachers when they have a C or a D. But imagine if your child has an A, they're number one in school, and they still have a lesson teacher, right? That is the culture that we need to cultivate, actually. And the reason why I say that is, so this is not just, of course, for Nigerians, this is for every family to think about. Roger Federer, the tennis player, when he was number one in tennis, he had a coach. Like, he was the best, but he had a coach. So the reality is that your children are not receiving the highest level of math they could be doing right now. Tell me whatever school you tell me. Now, there is one school in Massachusetts and New Hampshire that maybe they're getting something close, but most students are not receiving math at the level that matches their potential. So what I love is that growing up, a lot of families would encourage their children, like, aim to be the best, right? And even if they were the best, the parents are still helping them go further. So that's part of what I think it comes down to. Yes, we talk about the word smart, but there's this word hard work that I love as well. If you're hardworking, you can exceed all expectations. So anyways, that's what I think, is that the parents, a lot of Nigerian parents, from what I've seen, are trying to say, okay, how can you go further? Now, the cultural context in the West, especially in America, sometimes I feel like we've gotten a little lazy and we're not pushing further. That's where the problem begins. And we need to make sure we watch out for that.
Thank you so much. I hear you loud. And I also think, like both of you said, the illusion of the Nigerian smart child, I won't say it's an illusion, but it's also part of our culture. So because we always aim for excellence. So like a typical Nigerian or African parent, and you tell them, funny enough, I was listening to something on Instagram. There's this guy, I don't know his name, but I think it just became popular. So he sings now, but he was actually in med school and he dropped out. But now he's won awards, he's all over the place. I think he was recently at what's her name's studio, the popular black girl, I can't remember her name right now. And then he was granting a podcast interview. And then it was like his father still asked him, so when are you going back to med school? And he's like, with all the awards I have, with everything, like, that is not enough for you. And the father is like, you need to be a medical doctor. And it's like, but he was just laughing at it. But he was saying that even the little knowledge he had while he was in med school, he can still equate it in the things he's doing right now. So I feel it's that cultural influence that we have on our kids, pushing them to excellence. And maybe at this time, the kids may be like, oh, dad is doing too much or mom is doing too much. But by the time they are grown, they kind of look back and see that this was really for the better for me. So yeah. And just before we go into it, I was trying to do a small research this morning about smart children who transition into global icons. So for me, this is really so inspiring, because when we're doing this as parents, we see that at the end of the day, it pays for our children, it pays for the community, it pays for the global. So I'm just going to highlight few people here. The first person is a fintech giant. The name is Michelle Elegbe. Is the founder of InterSwitch, who studied electronic engineering. We also have Zurel Oduwole, who started making documentaries at age of 9, addressed global audiences before 15 years old, which is so inspiring. Then we have Inyoluwa Aboyeji, who is the co-founder of Andela and Florida Wave, a Nigerian smart child who turned to a tech ecosystem builder, and so many people. And not to say that the Nigerian smart child is only in education. We see them in sports, we see them in music, we see them. So our children have been gifted, and I feel that as parents, what we owe God is to ensure that these children actually, all the gift that God has given to them, they're able to express it to the fullest capacity, which is why Nigerian School of Maths is here to help you to accomplish that. So we're going to go into, the structure, introducing the NSM formula. And I want either Amos or Yinka to start with that. So just giving everyone the structure, the mastery, you've told us why this started, but tell us how this is going to be run. Thank you.
Yeah, so Mr. Yinka, let me just mention a couple of things, and then if you don't mind, please share with us about your the app you've built and how how Lead Learning is helping to power some of what NSM is seeking to do. One thing I was going to also mention as an interesting random fact is that last year or 2 years ago, the best student in the Cambridge, ecosystem for math ended up being a Nigerian girl from I think she was from a school from the southwestern part of the country in Nigeria. And it's just interesting to think that, again, if you tell children, like, I'm going to tell parents about this research I've been looking at. It's called the Pygmalion effect and the Golem effect. The Pygmalion effect is a phenomenon in which high expectations lead to improved performance in a given area. And then the Golem effect is an effect where low expectations placed on individuals lead to poorer performance. What are we telling our children, parents? And I want to encourage you to just encourage your children to aim high, encourage your children to give the best they can in whatever they're doing, and it will have an effect on how well they perform. Let me give you a quick practical example and tie it to the Nigerian School of Maths. In America, you are not required to take calculus to graduate in most states. As a matter of fact, only 15% of students take calculus before they graduate. In some states in America, only 4% of students take calculus. Why is this important? Well, in Nigeria and a lot of West African countries, everybody has to learn some basic calculus, differentiation or integration. If they're using the new general maths, right? They're using a certain textbook that the third level. There's a little bit of calculus concepts in there. Now, if they're doing further maths, they do a lot more of calculus. But the point is, the expectation is higher, so we're seeing children push further. In America, the expectation is actually lower in terms of what we expect you to graduate with, right? So some students in America graduate with only Algebra 2. Like, this is too low. And when you set that as the bar, some of them will not even do as well in Algebra 2. But if you make calculus 2 the bar, many kids will go past Algebra 2, and some of them might even do calculus 2. So where are we setting the bar? The Nigerian School of Maths is using part of the formula. I'll share from my perspective. I'm on the sort of counting the calculus framework perspective, but we're coming together with Lead Learning, and their tools are going to be part of what we use. And so in the Nigerian School of Maths, we're teaching kids the importance of mastery-based learning. So we don't teach maths just based on primary 1 or first grade, second grade, third grade. Yes, there's a place for some of those conversations, but we're also focused on, have you mastered addition? Have you mastered subtraction? Have you mastered the themes? So we focus a lot on mastery, and we also focus on a lot on the mindset. What is the mindset that the child has to learning mathematics? A big part of being very good in maths and science, and it's actually the Nigerian School of Mathematics and STEM+AI. So we are focused on everything STEM. And by God's grace, we say we will raise the next Nobel laureates in physics and chemistry. Like, we're not stopping short of the highest levels. And when there's a new research field that comes out, the Nigerian School of Maths will be talking about it, right? Because we love helping children be at the cutting edge. So we focus on mastery and we focus on mindset. Now, in terms of the nuts and bolts, I'll have Mr. Yinka share some of what he's done with his the app and everything he's doing that can give our children the nuts and bolts to be phenomenal at mathematics. Over to you, Mr. Yinka.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Amos. Just also add a bit of flesh to what you started out saying. I think expectations are everything. And hardly would you ever find anyone who actually got what they were shooting for, right? But the point is that the fact that you have a high target causes you to shoot higher. So, like would always say, if you aim for the star and for the sun, you will at least land on the moon or something. But I don't think in America right now we are aiming for nothing and we are hitting nothing every time, right? There's no aim, there's no target, there's nothing that seems to be what we are actually shooting for. And then we are leaving children who scientifically do not have what it takes to actually chart their own pathway. Like, science has pretty much told us that their children, their minds are not fully developed, and yet we're leaving them to make decisions. Oh, I'm not going to take this course. Oh, I'm going to how does that even work, right? Anyway, so I think that is the core of the issue. That's the core of the issue that I think that we have in America. And as an immigrant family, is something that you really want to watch, so that your children do not now go down that route or do not now end up in the space where they're also. I mean, I had a conversation with one of my students recently, and it's something similar. And he told me that he had gotten a grade, I think maybe like a 79 over 100 or something. And I'm like, guy, this is not good, not at all, because again, the standard is 95, 93 or above, right? Because 93 is an A minus. and the target is a perfect GPA. So if you're getting 79, that's far, far, far below. And my guy looked at me and he said, "Oh, but Mr. Yinka, I did my best." And then I asked him, I said, "By what standard did you judge that you did your best?" Right? It's a very important question. And that's what happens when you find yourself in a space where there are no standards. Everybody just comes up with their own standards and they just say, "Oh, I'm doing my best." And really there's nothing you can do at that point. But when you have kids in a space where everybody is running, where there's such a high target, they might not hit those targets like Mr. Amos rightly said, but then it will cause them to go so far, right? They will stretch themselves to push, to exhaust what their capacity really is. And it's not impossible because you see this being done in, a lot of the Asian countries now. Check out China, check out Singapore, check out Finland, check out Dubai, check out what they are doing, check out Nigeria, right? Check out what they are doing. So it's not impossible. It's just a case of, we have watered things down over time for whatever reason. And so the calculus framework is the idea behind everything that we're doing. We're saying, we are running a mastery-based learning where we receive students and then we walk them through, so we do a diagnostic test first. That's the first thing, right? So we take a diagnostic test and then, that gives us a unique position of where you are, right? And then that unique position, it's because math is in strands. So let me just do a bit of communication about how math works. Math is in strands, right? So there are some strands of math that are requirements, or some topics in math that are requirements for other topics. So those form a strand, right? Those form a strand. But there are some that are disjoint. So we want to test you across every strand, identify where you are on each strand, and then now come up with a unique pathway for you, to make sure that you meet up and exceed with the learning requirements. So we have a learning management system that we run with that has all of this put together, and then students will just run through that. So we have courses for pre-algebra, we have courses for pre-algebra, we have courses for WAEC math, we have courses for WAEC further math, and then in all of this, you have the entire requirements of the American curriculum embedded within. And what we are saying is that we can help a child run through these requirements in as little as 2.5 years, right? So let's say we pick up a student who is maybe in grade 8 or grade 9, and you are, let's even assume that you are not where you need to be, and so we need to start with pre-algebra, right? So what we are seeing is that with structured work, right, and the freedom to run parallel to whatever is going on in the school, right, that so school might be going in this direction, but we are saying, okay, we are sticking on this, right? We are going in this other direction. You will be able to catch up with your peers in no time, be able to compete with them, and even exceed them without limitations, right? So we are saying that in as little as 2.5 years, you have exhausted the learning requirements of the American curriculum, and then you can now push into other things. So, Mr. Amos, interestingly enough, right, one of my students yesterday at the hub, he came in and he had the best, so he showed me, of course, he had the best results in Algebra 2. So he's in grade 10, and doing Algebra 2 in grade 10 allows you to at least be able to do Calculus 1 in grade 12, right? But when I spoke with the mom, probably I'll share the chart with you.
That's fine. You can read it to us, sir.
I think we lost his audio. Okay, it's back.
Oh, it's back. Okay, yeah, go ahead and.
Yeah, I'm back, right?
Yes, you can read it to us.
I was saying that, Mr. Amos, so this guy, and I'm just trying to identify how.
Sorry, your video is.
Your video is. Your video.
Sorry, your video. Oh,
Okay.
good.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, he's in grade 10, he's taking Algebra 2, so I work with him. Obviously, we have exhausted the SAT requirement for math, like we did that while he was just coming out of geometry. And so usually we are learning ahead of what he's doing. In class, he just goes to class, what are you doing right now? Oh, I'm doing rational functions. Are you having any issues? No. And then we move on. Anyway, he brought back the report and it was like, he had the best in Algebra 2. And when he brought back the report to me, and I'm just trying to explain about how expectations are important. It wasn't no, it was a case of, we expected this, right? We knew this was what we were going to get. The next question is, you're not learning what you're supposed to be learning, right? So what are we going to do about that? So he's doing pre-calculus in the summer. right? So while other, kids in America are just, doing whatever they're doing, right? He's doing pre-calculus in the summer. We'll try to exhaust that, get the credit for it. So by the time he's done in grade 11, he's doing AP calculus, AD. That's calculus 1, like Mr. Amos said. And in grade 12, he's doing calculus BC. And again, it's not a case of, oh, I'm plugging in to do it. He is excited about doing it, right? And not just him, but we have quite a number of them like that. I just know that, in fact, quite a lot of the kids that I work with, they are doing one AP course or the other. Everybody's just trying to leverage on extra credits and all of that. So what I'm just saying is that, in summary, is that yes, it's not impossible. Of course, we have a learning management system that creates a system for accountability, right? So you would know what your child is able to do. You are not even left really. I mean, we have really great results, but you're not even left at the mercy of the tutors. We have resources that carry myself and Mr. Amos's position on how math should be taught, that the tutors will run your children through, all right, with expected end, all right? And we are assuring that in as little as 2.5 years, depending on the grade level of the student anyway, we should be able to exhaust the base requirement of American high school math and then begin to reach into even more.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much. Mr. Amos, do you want to add anything before we move on?
I think that let me see, 1 second. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, I think that the expectations piece is really critical. And maybe if parents have any questions, thoughts, comments, I mean, at some point, we look forward to hearing your feedback on this as well. The diagnostic is the beginning of everything, right? When you go to a doctor, they do a CT scan. If it's an ER case, they do whatever diagnostics. And then based on the diagnostic, you give them the relevant, here's what you need to do. So let me just remind parents one thing here. The current era we're living in is very heavy on tech and AI. And I know that some parents are asking and some people are asking, if there's AI and a Google, why does my child need to do calculus now? And so on and so forth. Well, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. In a world where everybody has the AI tools at a certain level, you can give your child an edge by going further and telling your child to learn why AI works, right? Why does AI work? That's a critical question. Now, the interesting thing with that is that physics and math are big components of why AI works underneath the surface. If your child knows physics and maths, especially physics, parents, your child is set. If your child knows physics in this era that we're in, your child will be set. Why? Because physics is actually powering almost every single aspect of this tech revolution. AI works under the principles of Isaac Newton's math. It works under the principles of Joseph Fourier's math. But those principles are also the same ones we teach in physics. So parents, I really want to encourage you, don't belittle your children's math and science ability. The way I think about giving your children an edge and a high expectation is you can go to Walmart and buy certain things and they work, some generic products, right? Or you can go to a very tailored, customized store and get what is very specific to your needs. What many schools are giving children today is the Walmart, right? And I use this gently. If Walmart wants to sponsor us, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to belittle Walmart. But the point is, we all know that Walmart cares for a certain, like their standards are at a certain level, and they know that. Again, great prices for everybody. But if you want that custom-made shoe, then you have to go to a place that has custom-made curriculum or whatever. So the Nigerian School of Maths is heavily powered by AI because we have agentic AI already built into our system, not just generative AI, which everybody knows. Everybody knows ChatGPT, but we actually have agentic AI that builds curriculum custom-made for our students. So when I meet a student and they love basketball, my agentic AI will build a basketball curriculum, teaching them counting to calculus, using basketball as the frame of reference. I mean, how crazy is that, right? We can do that more and more. Now, some of the parents on this call, it's been a blessing working with your family, and I look forward to working with some new parents. But we've used a website that has helped us come thus far. But we're going to be upgrading some of our website resources this summer to tailor more to your child's needs. We're living in an era where everything seems to be custom made, right? Even in medicine, we're moving more towards a customized medical system where we can look at your specific gene and try and figure out what treatments might work best for certain conditions. We talked a little bit about this in our career prep video last week. So if you go to our web, Living Sensibly, Learning Institute for Excellence YouTube channel, we put it there. So parents, if you want to watch the video about personalized medicine, let me know. I'll send that to you. But the reason why I bring that up is we're in an era of personalized mathematics and personalized learning. When we were learning math in Nigeria, we had one textbook. And if you were stuck, you were stuck. You'll find a friend to help you. Parents, that time has changed. If your child doesn't understand what's happening now in class, there are 1,000 resources available to them. That's been a very conservative number. There's way more available to them. So don't give up on your child's math excellence. Don't give up on where your child can go. Set the expectation high and get them a coach. Ideally, a coach that has been trained in high-level mathematics or counting to calculus framework, and they can take your child to the next level. Over to you, Adetola.
Thank you so much. That is so informative. I'm wondering if anyone has questions. Please put it in the chat box so that we can take it. We really want this to be interactive. If you have questions about how the diagnostics works, please put it in the chat. Any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So what you said really is interesting to me about if a child loves basketball, how you can incorporate that into learning, because I feel children learn by what they love. So once you can solve that problem, I think it's really going to make every other thing really easy. And then for the child, they're able to assimilate because this is what they love already, and they can translate to their learning styles, because each child also has a learning style, learning techniques, and that's all the things we also need to, bring in context. But I wanted to find out, so if as a parent, I'm wondering, how does mastery come across? So what does mastery look like in a child, and how can parents or educators help to ensure that, the children are learning, they can master techniques and all of that? The floor is open.
If I ask you what your name is, if you don't mind, Ma, if I say, what is your name? Let's say I come up to you, I'm a stranger, and I say, what is your name? What would you say?
Hey, my name is Tola.
Perfect. That speed with which you answered me, that's the speed your child should answer a math problem, and we know they've mastered it. So, for example, when somebody says 3 times 5, 15, it should automatically flow. If a topic is not automatically flowing for a child, we need to fix that. And how do we fix that? Of course, coaching, teaching. But now there's so many tools out there. But notice the first step is to realize that your child can master. Now, I wouldn't say this for quantum mechanics and higher level physics. Those are hard to just do like that. Like, even the quantum physicists will tell you that they're still scratching their heads on some topics. But there are certain topics in mathematics that we're not scratching our head. We know that the sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So 2 quick points, and then Mr. Yinka, tell us what you think about mastery too. But the first one is people need to have first of all, we need to expect that people can master concepts. That is critical. Number 2, we need to realize that when you ask your child, what are you working on in school? Have you ever seen children say something like this? Oh, I'm just working on chapter 10 or page 19. Like, they just mentioned some random page or some random chapter. That is actually not a good thing in education, or in math education especially. Here's what I mean. In math, you should always know what topic you're wrestling with, down to the specific. So here's what I mean. Hey, John, what are you working on? I'm working on adding fractions of unlike denominators, and I'm trying to understand how better to do that. They know exactly what they're working on at any given time. When they've mastered it, and then you ask, hey, what topics have you mastered recently? They should be able to tell you the exact skill they've mastered. Math is not a passive subject that you are just gliding along with no direction. No, you need to know what you're doing every step of the way and what you're learning. So I would say, first of all, believe they can master. And then second of all, make sure they know exactly what it is they're working on. So for example, some of my students next week, they're going to work on a specific concept, right? Prime factorization. Wonderful. They know exactly what they're working on at any given point. So parents, please encourage your children to know exactly what they're working on. By the way, lastly, there's one thing that no parent should do. Even if they don't go to Nigerian School of Maths, which we would love to have you this summer. We have a 6-week program this summer. But even if you're not doing Nigerian School of Maths and you want to go to a local math center, please, parents, the era of taking 3 months off for math in the summer is a bad idea. It's not this era anymore, because maths requires continuity. And when you cut that continuity, your children are actually losing time. I did the math and realized that children can save 4 years of maths 4 years if they don't take summers off. So you are literally wasting the math years of your child when you take the summer off. It's a very bad idea. And look at America's rankings. It's not coincidental that America is one of the worst industrialized nations because we take the longest breaks from a subject that we're not good at. We need children to keep learning year round. Even if you just prompt your AI to give practice problems to just help your children stay sharp, do that. But taking 3 months off is really not going to help with mastery. So that's my recommendation. Wherever you want to get your prescription, that's my diagnosis. Okay, Mr. Yinka, what does mastery look like?
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Amos, and well said, really well said. I think, yeah, mastery, the speed at which you're able to say something, the confidence with which you're able to say, I mean, if you've mastered something, you would know. One interesting place that I feel like mastery is non-negotiable is your multiplication fact, right? It doesn't really matter that you understand it. I'll talk about how you master it. It doesn't really matter that you understand it. It matters that you master it. If I ask you what is 7 times 6, and you have to do 7 times 5 and then add 7 to it, right? That might get you the answer if all we're doing was the multiplication part. But if you need that in the middle of the fraction problem, you'll be frustrated every time you had to do that. So, and to master that basically takes time, it takes deliberateness, it takes a very encouraging space to sort of, a very encouraging environment. For some kids, it's easier than that one, but for all of us. But again, I have done this severally, and we have a system that allows kids to master that in as little as a month of consistent practice. So, as a parent, what would spell mastery or what would cause mastery for my students, your children? 2 things: consistency and meticulousness. Consistency and meticulousness. Consistency, like Mr. Amos said, again, it doesn't make sense that you leave math for 3 months, right? Again, I don't even know how some of these things became mainstream ideas, right? I'm not sure how some of these things became mainstream ideas, but again, leaving math for 3 months is just very interesting, right? Even if it takes 2 weeks or a week and then you come back to do something, again, and that thing, Mr. Amos, is that you said something that I think also could just be overlooked. You said parents must believe that their children can master math, and it's true. Why leave them? Why accept the fact that it's not their thing, right? We could share several examples of world-renowned mathematicians who did not love mathematics initially. All it took was consistency, meticulousness, and someone to inspire them, and automatically, boom, it just became, another thing. So, yeah, consistency in the sense that, for instance, to master the multiplication tables, you have to do it. You have to spend 40 minutes on it every day. We have flashcards that we give to you. Spend 40 minutes on it every day. Begin to stack up the flashcard, begin to stack up the flashcard, so that as you get a new power, once you, maybe you completed 2 times table, then you add on 3 times table. So the power of what you've learned keeps on growing, and you keep on practicing them, right? So that's where the inspiration bit comes in, right? Then just being deliberate about it. We have some activities, we even have some psychological mental notes for the person that's going to be working with the child, just to make sure that the child does not become discouraged. And in as little as a month, we've done this for several children. They learn their multiplication facts. From multiplication facts, they can now divide. Once you can multiply, you can divide, and maybe you're in grade 4, grade 5. There's nothing else you really need to do. You can learn anything else. You can really learn anything else in pre-algebra once you can multiply and divide, right? So the second thing is, so that is for consistency. For meticulousness, this is another place that I feel like the American space is just very interesting. I don't care that you are able to do it in your head. Do it on paper, start. Do it on paper, start. Do it on paper. I repeat, do it on paper. And the people that suffer the most from this are kids that are actually naturally good at math. Do it on paper. So because a time is coming that you've not yet learned how to do math on paper. Yeah, you've not learned how to do math on paper. But yet, the math you are now doing, you can't do it in your head anymore. But you learned how to do math on paper. So you now get into middle school, entering into high school, and you drop from being an A student to an average student. You see, when you learn math the Nigerian way, as often as you need to use a formula, you will write it down. Mr. Amos can attest to that. If you need to use a formula 100 times, you write it down If you want, anytime you want to calculate the area of a triangle, you write A is equal to 1 over 2 BH. Then you will now write A is equal to question mark, if that's what you're looking for. B is equal to 10, and then H is equal to 12 or something, right? You write the unit. You will then substitute into the variable. Then either you're solving backwards to look for a variable, on the other, or you're solving for. But that's why you cannot ask a Nigerian SS2 student about the area of a trapezium and they will stutter, because they have written it 55 times. They probably 100 times. So, but you ask an American student, and this is not a student that is supposed to be struggling with math, and they're telling you, it shows up when you're doing your SAT. I mean, you're trying to write your SAT, and you are really trying to write the SAT, and you check the front, and they're writing area of the square. Really, anybody that needs to flip over to the front page to look for the area of the square will still fail if you did not know it already. So some things are just, again, I find them very interesting. But meticulousness, if you want to master math, meticulousness is a must. I don't care that you know. And in fact, I feel like it goes into everything else. You cannot receive a notebook and write in the middle. It doesn't make any sense. You receive a notebook, you write your name on the top, you write your date on the top right-hand corner on the top. You know you must date your book before you write anything else. You know. But there's a lot of just flippancy. That's the word to use. Maybe because we are afraid to discipline kids, or we don't want to create a system that makes them. Again, I don't have any problem with children feeling bad, right? It's normal for them to feel bad about things. That's how they grow. So, and again, sorry if I'm sounding very, very, pushy, but it's just, again, because I've seen this again and again, and I've seen children who have immense potential being watered down because of some of these things. So, consistency definitely is a definite thing. Taking 3 months off of math is just interesting. I don't want to say ridiculous, but it's just interesting. Consistency is important. Number 2 is meticulousness, right? And then number 3, maybe I think every child really needs someone to inspire them, which is why, yes, I admit that there are several systems of that you could get support, but a system like NSM, myself and Mr. Amos, if you check most of the reviews we've gotten from students, it's mostly, oh, he inspired me. And that's, in fact, I had a conversation with the parent yesterday, and that was all the parents just kept on talking about, that for some reason, my son just wants you to be proud of him, that's all. And, I don't even know what I really did, but we just have that thing that just inspires children to want to do. Again, if you're looking for what to do with your child this summer, I'm not saying it just because you're paying us money. I'm telling you because, it's a natural gifting that we have. We have the ability to actually inspire your child to do well, and inspire your child to take up consistency, and meticulousness as a word to achieve mastery. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I will say that in summary, what the Nigerian School of Mathematics is known for is inspiring students to go beyond, their natural capacity and exceed, smash all the glass ceilings and all of that. I'm wondering if we have any questions. I know someone just joined us. Welcome, Akin Adekunle. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been talking about the Nigerian School of Maths, the curriculum, the mastery that your child should have. So if you have any question on that, or you want to play catch up, please feel free to ask your questions in the chat box. We have few minutes to go, and I'm wondering if Amos or Mr. Yinka have any closing thoughts or just anything, since we don't have any questions from parents at this time.
Yeah, parents, please feel free, let us know. I just want to show you a quick slide I'm going to share my screen, and then please just feel free to type in your questions. This is let me grab it here. This is a document talking about the key tenets of Counting to Calculus movement, I call it. And so again, by God's grace, I'm the author of the Counting to Calculus curriculum framework, which basically it can be used by schools and countries or whatever to guide their children from basic math all the way to the most advanced levels of math. So I'm making high-level math accessible to every child. This is not for gifted students alone, even though I do work with gifted students. This is for any regular child graduating school with 30 college credits, graduating high school. We help them get up to 30 college credits of math and science. And we're doing that year round. So just reach out if you have any questions. amosthemathguy@gmail.com is my email. amosthemathguy@gmail.com. But here we go. The key tenets of Counting to Calculus. Number 1, every child can flourish in math. Number 2, and I can send you this PDF, parents, if you want. Number 2, math is learnable, logical, and beautiful. Number 3, the history, philosophy, and real-world applications matter. My email is on there too. Number 4, we need to diagnose before we prescribe, right? That's part of why we do these diagnostic tests. Number 5, math and science must be integrated. This one is interesting because many of us will learn maths and then we go and learn physics on the other side. We actually need to be showing students more and more that maths and physics used to be actually one, like they used to hang out together a lot more, and we've been separating it, and that has not been good. Have you noticed we've not had world-class, well, we've had world-class scientists, but we've not had scientists like Newton, like Einstein, like some of these guys for a long time. Part of that is because we've fragmented math and science. We need them together, and then more children will see connections. And that's how we do it at the Nigerian School of Maths and Counting to Calculus. Number 6, confidence is built through mastery and coaching. Number 7, accelerated mastery-based learning. That's what Nigerian School of Maths does. So in the Nigerian School of Maths, you can have somebody in 9th grade doing calculus. You can have somebody in 8th grade doing calculus. Like, that's actually normal. Like, I can get a child to calculus in 8th grade, which means they can do calculus 1, 2, and 3 before they ever graduate school. That gives them more opportunities to apply to top universities. That gives them they're more likely to score a perfect score on their maths on the SAT. And then number 8, classical education. I integrate that into STEM, with STEM and classical education. That happens with Counting to Calculus. Number 9, the students who use Counting to Calculus are from all across the world. They're not just in America. They're not just in Nigeria. They're from Singapore. They're from everywhere. And what we're doing is we're saying no matter where you live, you can get the highest level of maths and science training. And then I call it, this one is, well, it's not just a movement. I mean, it's not just a program, it's a movement, right? Helping to see global education transformation, where every child does calculus, statistics, linear algebra, discrete math, and data science before they graduate high school. That's the basic level I just told you. If you want the advanced level, we'll get them to calculus 2, 3, and beyond before they graduate. So let me know if you have any questions on our tenets of Counting to Calculus. These are the key elements, and I can also email this to people. So thank you. We'll try and upload it to the countingtocalculus.org website, and my email is there also for the Counting to Calculus. Okay, I'm going to stop and give parents a chance to share.
So over to you, parents. Questions, feedback, anything. We just want to hear from you. Well, it seems that we don't have any question, and I feel like
Actually, there's one. Oh, okay. Somebody asked. I should have. I don't know if you see the Q&A button, Tola, on your side, but I see it on mine. Next time I can add that. But how do we key in? Is it only for Nigerian students? That's a good question. So let me just answer that question, if it's okay. Basically, the Nigerian School of Maths, the name comes from the fact that it's coming with the rigor of some of the Nigerian math curriculum, but it's actually open to any parent from around the world. It's open to anybody. And so there's something in America called the Russian School of Maths. And then you people might have heard of the Singapore Math Center. Notice that these are all in America, right? But why are these names tied to those centers? Because Russia has a strong math heritage, for example. Singapore is the best in elementary math for like 15 years and counting. And speaking of Singapore math, we actually integrated it into our curriculum framework. And so I bring all that up to say, just because, the name is Nigerian School of Maths, we're going to be housed out of Houston, Texas, but it's open to everybody. It's like going to an Indian restaurant in America and enjoying Indian food. We're telling people you can enjoy Nigerian math rigor, no matter where you're from. So this is open to every student. We want to see millions of students in America using the Nigerian math rigor. So that's who it's for. And how do you key in? Our summer program is a great place to start. You could go to Nigerianschoolofmathematics.com, Nigerianschoolofmathematics.com. And when you go there, you can sign up for a diagnostic test with Mr. Yinka. We'll work with you, get to see where you're at. And then our summer program starts on June 15th. And it's a 6-week program. So our website has more information on that as well. It starts on June 16th.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll also be emailing all of this information to everyone who signed up for today's class so that you will be able to get it just right about now. So thank you. Once again, I would like to just get closing words from either Yinka or Amos before we wrap it up.
Mr. Yinka, do you want to share a word or two before we close?
Yeah, basically, I guess I would say looking forward to seeing everybody, right? Looking forward to working with everybody. I want us to work together. Just that I will handle that myself with the child. Work with them math from counting all the way to calculus, where they are, then supply with the feedback, and you can come up with a plan for your child. Also, I think, I don't know if Mr. Amos mentioned that the Nigerian School of Math, the summer program is not just math. So we're also having STEM classes, STEM sessions, very interactive and explorative STEM sessions. And then we are also going to be having AI programming, right? So the child will be learning to program with AI. We have the option for game development. We have options for data analysis, and it became AI powered. So basically, the child was a no-brainer in the child had no knowledge of programming at all. The child will learn to integrate both, of course, they'll do the fundamentals of programming, but then they will use AI to supercharge their learning. So really, by the time your child is, in the space where, by the end of the 6 weeks, your child will be able to do stuff that should have taken them maybe 1 year or 2 years before they would have been able to do, right? So it's an amazing opportunity for them to get ahead in AI ways, using AI to learn programming, as well as, of course, our wonderful math program. So I look forward to meeting everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Amos, and thank you, Mr. Scholar.
Thank you so much. So I have questions. So which age range is this for? Is it for those in high school, middle school? Can you shed more light on that?
I would say 3rd grade to 12th grade, so primary 3 to graduation, graduating. And by the way, if your child has just graduated, tell them to call us too, because we actually help students who are in the gap year or in the gap season or preparing for college. Those 3 months can be very key, even if they're starting in the fall. But if they even want to take more time to prepare, let them call, because we have career prep for them. So basically, for the summer program, it'll be about primary 3 or 3rd grade to 12th grade. But year round, though, we have tutors that can work with your children, even if they're less than primary 3. So I have a primary 2 student or 2nd grader. Our program is going to work with. We are open to working with all students, but this particular summer program for the 6 weeks is for 3rd through 12th.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending today. You can always go back if you felt you missed a question. And please feel free to share this recording when we send the link to you, to your friends and family. You never know, you may be raising the next, generation of great leaders in STEM and all of that. So thank you so much. Once again, thank you to Amos and to Yinka and everyone who joined us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Stola, and God bless you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amos. Thank you so much, Mr. Bye.